Well, vlogging ain't gonna happen today. That was some deep sleep. Oh, that's crazy. It's like really dark in here, but then the ground's really light. Must be a light reflection. Just the reflection of the fence outside. Funny how painted on wood would have that big of a light reflection. Yeah, here's to hoping a nice little shower will wake me up. I mean, I feel a little better. But yeah, I didn't quite get to sleep as soon as I wanted. I just thought, I work early tomorrow. I know I really want to vlog today, but I really should not overexert myself. God, you can really tell I just woke up. Ooh. Anyway. My God. It's so bright out here. I've been awake for like 20 minutes. I can't deal. Throat's still a little scratchy. I can still tell, like, I'm just a little off kilter. This is what these little congestion, viral infections do to me. They're never that bad, but they stay, like, almost at the same level for, like, 5-6 days. But in all seriousness, you know, one of the reasons I created this vlog was there's a place for me to talk about whatever and do daily vlogs, as I decided pretty quickly after I started it. But, you know, I spent a lot of time on my other YouTube channel clogging it with personal stories, personal perspectives, experiences, and all that. And so I want that to be a big focus of this channel, maybe with my daily blog having like a specific story I tell. I just haven't quite gotten to that point yet because a lot of my days have been working on this, working on that, going to bed, and then just whatever I video at random in the middle there. But walking up to, I'm not going all the way to Target because I don't need any food. I'm good on the food front, I just need some liquids. I say as my throat is a little clogged. But I'm thinking, we're at the end of January, which means I have to pay my credit card bill. Can't forget that. For the record, if you ever have a credit card bill, like let's say you're like, I don't know, $1,000 in debt, you're probably paying about 25 or so bucks in interest, roughly. If it's just kind of a credit card from your bank or whatever, an American Express, I don't know. Just, you know, remember that you have interest to pay, you know, like new credit card holders. I'm going to get run over here. No, I'm going to make it. Okay. Whew. Just remember that, you know, because one of the games they like to play, they like to offer you a really low monthly payment, but when you're paying off your credit card, you should know, you know, roughly how much your interest is going to be. Like my interest right now, because I do have a bit of credit card debt, because I had to buy a new camera and lens because I got mugged 2 years ago, and it's just kind of teetered. I pay off a little, then I have to use my credit card on something, back and forth. But my monthly interest is probably about 25 bucks. My minimal monthly payment is about 32 bucks. So think about that. If I'm getting charged 25 bucks interest in addition to just my debt in general, and I have $32 minimal payment, well, I'm only paying off 7 bucks on my actual credit card bill because 25 of that 32 is going to reaccumulate over the next month, whether I use my credit card or not. So if you have the money, always try to pay off, even if you're not super well-to-do. I try to pay off at least double what my minimal payment is. So if it's about 25, I try, or, you know, about 32, I try to pay at least like 60. So you're actually like making a significant ding. It's my lesson for the day. But in terms of my life, the fact that it's about to transition, it's 2019, it's about to transition into February. It was just a little over 2 years ago. I was stuck living in the basement of the rectory home at the church I attended. I'll probably be talking about, especially when I'm reflecting back, I'll be talking a lot about my church experience because I went to that church for almost 11 years, just a little less than 11 years. And I lived on the property for a hair over 7 years. And I still miss that basement. I love that basement. It was like my own little studio apartment. But the good came with a lot of bad. So anyway, here I am, not super duper happy. It is windy today again, so I'm kind of glad I didn't go vlogging, because this would probably mess me up a lot. But I remember it was January 20th, 2017, just a smidge over 2 years ago, that my friend Nick, my urban exploration buddy, who's, dude, make up your mind, Cabby, who's moving to Seattle in April. So there's another really good friend of mine that's up and moving to Seattle. I'm losing all my good friends to Seattle. My best friend moved there in 2010. But he's my friend I've gone exploring with. He's popped up in some of my videos. We haven't really explored much recently. We're trying to do it some more before he moves. So hopefully I'll have more content on my amateur historian channel of us exploring around and finding cool stuff. But he walked up to me January 20th because there had been a little bit of a falling out with one of his roommates. There was 4 of them living in a tiny apartment. And he had it out with this one girl. She got pissed and moved out. So they needed someone right away. And almost as quickly as I was thinking, man, I wonder if I should try to see if that's available, because, you know, I really want to get out of my situation. And then he came up and asked me, like, hey, you know, I know you said you don't really love your current living situation, and like we need someone now, and I'd rather have somebody who I'm friends with that I know over some random stranger. And of course, typical me, I was like, oh wow, that's a big step. I don't know. And there was a lot of like, you know, wanting to say no for the sake of avoiding a massive change in my life, which I can say even in the last 2 years, that element of who I am has changed considerably. But fortunately, in all that turmoil, I'm so thankful that I said no. No, Steve, you've been spending the last year wondering how the hell you're going to get out of your current living situation. You do not make enough money to support yourself. Potential, you know, apartments with friends are not just going to pop up left and right. I tried for like 2 years to get an apartment with one of my friends, and he wouldn't get his shit together. Like, when is the next time you're going to have this opportunity? And it's with a guy that you know, it's with one of your friends, a guy who I specifically have thought in the past, you know, he'd probably be a pretty good roommate. So I said yes. And in early February, I finally moved all my crap in. And I intended fully on continuing going to the church that I was going to. Fully intended to. I just, you know, it wasn't going to be because I was forced to. You know, because I had a lot of issues with the people I was going to church with. A lot of issues. So, you know, I moved in, and it was wild and crazy because it was my first time having that, like, living with roommates dynamic. I was 31 years old, and I was just learning the dynamic of having roommates. And then people at church were hassling me because I had left some trash and stuff that I needed to throw out at the house, and I kept trying to schedule a time, and they just were completely impatient. And I kept trying to say, like, I'm getting it together. We're gonna make this happen. I have to, you know, do this around my schedule. And then finally I went out there to just do a little bit myself, only to find all the stuff that had been left there was crammed into a corner. So while they're giving me crap saying I need to come and do this, they had been behind my back doing it themselves. So I know they were just trying to get me to come in so they could give me a bunch of shit for doing my job without asking me or waiting for me or being patient with me. So that was the last straw. Love some of the antiquated things at Big Lots. I love that these are still a thing. That, you know, play your CD player in your tape deck because you still have a tape deck in your car converter. I remember having one of those. Still looking for that coax to 3-prong. This, except with the yellow. Don't think I'm gonna find it, but you know, they have such wild mix of stuff. So Y adapter, see. You can find coax cable, you can find coax connections, but I'm just trying to find one that goes from this to the 3 so I can actually like watch cable and YouTube in the living room again. Oh man, here we go. multi-pack of DVDs for 15 bucks. Slim case for 6. And then from the electrics to... And then from the electrics to... Here's my section. This stuff, 85 cents a bottle, is amazing. I haven't had ginger brew. I'm kind of interested in trying ginger beer. I mean, look at that. What? I've never seen these before. Okay, well, I have to try this. Okay. Knockoff brand. Yeah. Because energy drinks were usually right there, but obviously they got relocated, so I gotta reconfigure myself. And I love that they have Dad's soda, but I got one of these and it was definitely past its prime. I'm getting it. Just to show you, this is $3.25. I don't even know if it's still good. It just shows how I'm willing to spend money today. That being said, I want some more money. Ooh, aloe vera drink. Yeah, maybe next time. So I just finished my trip to Big Lots. It's already the second time Big Lots has been figured into this vlog. And classic me style, I know I don't need any food, so I just go to get some drinks and I decide I'm gonna experiment like an idiot. I probably shouldn't go shopping when I'm thirsty and specifically going to buy drinks. So while I'm trying to save money for a film, I just dropped $9 on drinks. 2 of which I may not even like. Like the ginger beer, $3, but I was really that interested. I want to try it, you know? I kind of want that to be a periodic thing I do when I vlog, is trying out new things I've never tried before. I tried doing it with candy, but then the video wasn't cutting right, so it just didn't quite happen. But I'm thinking, you know, I can show you guys my initial reaction to trying ginger beer in a big old bottle that may or may not have been sitting there for the last year. And I'm a little apprehensive about the Monster Shake just because apparently it's probably, you know, it's a little bit more milky and thick than an energy drink. Now that was not there the last time I was at Big Lots, which was just a couple days ago, so that's newly put on the shelf. So I know it's not, at least hasn't been on the shelf that long, but, you know, when you're dealing with a product that has milk in it, and it's a place where, yes, sometimes there is expired stuff, you know, I'm just gonna crack it open, take a sip, and decide based on that whether I'm gonna finish the thing. But just in case those two didn't work out, I then was like, well, I'm gonna need still something to actually drink all of if in effect those 2 drinks don't work out. So I bought 2 more drinks, and that's how you come to spending $9. And that's why it's not good knowing you don't have to buy food and then convincing yourself you have disposable food income for the day. So you drop $9 on drinks at Big Lots. I really should have woken up a little bit more before I decided to come out here and make horribly bad decisions. But anyway, as I was saying before Big Lots, God, my face is so bright. So I got pushed to my end, and I actually have video of it, of the immediate aftermath of me going back and realizing that, like, they didn't want me to just come and pick stuff up. They wanted to do it ahead of time and then corner me and chastise me and blah 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 blah. So they pretty much did everything. So I got pissed and left, and I was videoing it because I honestly didn't know what to expect when I showed up. So I was like, if anything sketchy is gonna happen, I want to have it on video to defend myself if necessary, because sketchy things have happened in that church before. Nothing like illegal or anything, but sketchy things. So I was able to video myself in the aftermath, just pissed. And I was already contemplating, like, you know, they were harassing me, and I suddenly realized, you know, I control my life. I have freedom, real freedom now. And I don't know if I'm going back to that church. And then when that happened, I was like, yeah, I'm gone. I didn't text him. I didn't send him anything. I just cut off conversation with him. Then, in great men of God style, because they had to clean up my room, they sent me a bill for over $500 for their efforts. Now, I was more than happy to pay them for the cost of what it would have taken to take that stuff to the dump, since after I went there and saw that they'd already moved everything, I was like, fine, screw it, you can deal with it. I was still, in that moment, more than fine. Like, but in all fairness, because I took half the stuff I was getting rid of to the dump, and it was a $38 bill, which means the stuff of mine that they had to take probably would have been about the same, maybe 40 bucks, 45 bucks at the most, not 500 bucks. But no, they decided to charge me 2 more months rent, as though they had anybody lined up to move in, and I was like holding them back. They charged me for rent because a little bit of stuff was still left in the room, and they charged me for the next month that hadn't even happened yet. So after they'd already moved the stuff out, they'd already charged me more rent. They charged me for time and labor that I never asked them to do. And then at the end of the letter, they made a point to threaten me with legal action if I didn't pay them. So, you know, I could have told them to screw off, but that really showed their true colors in the end, that letter. So I decided, you know what, your church is going to die someday because you people are scum. Sorry, they are. So, you know what? If giving you 500 and change is all it's going to take for me to say, here's your money, and goodbye, I'm never coming back, then, what the hell, I'll do it. And they knew I didn't have a lot of money. I just spent a bunch of money moving. They knew I didn't have a lot of money. They knew. They were completely having an adverse effect on my life the moment I moved. So they had the nerve to, after pulling that little stunt and then scamming me for $500, to both send me texts, you know, to the effect of like, hey, you know, we're not mad at you. We still want you to be part of our family. Ah, screw off. Really? You're going to threaten legal action because you had to move some shit around that I didn't ask you to do? So yeah, there was a lot of... At the end of that February into March, there was a lot of tension. Even though I had officially decided, the hell with these people, I am never going back. And I haven't. I've walked in close vicinity of the church a few times, but it was always because I was vlogging somewhere close by. And it's still so weird. It still feels so recent. But I haven't been... The last church service I went to was probably mid-January 2017. I haven't been inside that church in over 2 years. But I went there for so long. I remember the interiors perfectly. I remember the upstairs perfectly, down to the last finite detail. I used to spend a lot of time there, you know, when I would write and work on stuff. And then it got to a point where I wanted to disassociate from the brass there more and more over time. And it got to a point where I'd go to work and I would literally sneak home. I would pray I got off work after it got dark so I could literally creep through the parking lot, slip around the side of the house and go into my back entry, and then open that door as quietly as possible in case someone was in the basement. Sneak in, get into my room, and then I was in my room and I was safe. And there'd be times where the bishop I lived with would come to the door, knock on it, and ask if I was like, Steve, you there? And I would cover myself up in bed. I would literally hide myself and have all the lights turned off and make him think I wasn't home so he wouldn't bother me. That's how bad it got. It was like I was in prison in my own home. So yeah, I needed to get out. And you know, that all happened. Fruition was 2 years ago. And back home, just me and a cat. I'm gorgeous. So yeah, that's what was. I'm glad I'm not doing what I was doing 2 years ago. I remember being so wigged out because even though I wanted to get away, I still at my core really liked that room. And you know, when you live at one place for a really long time, it's kind of a big deal when you finally are, you know, organizing your stuff and packing up and leaving, and you definitely get nostalgic. But I remember thinking I was going to move a bunch of my stuff and then still come back. And then once I got to the house, or the apartment for the first time as a, you know, live-in, I was so wiped out. I just decided to organize my stuff the best I could and fall onto my, yep, here we go. You see this crap? What are you doing? It's like, oh shit, he saw me. Um, anyway, ooh, maybe I can get her up on. I love it when she gets on here and hangs out with me while I do work. Stella. Meow. Stella. Oh, she's got that look. She's ready. Stella. There we go. She's going for it. I know. It's been a couple days. Missed your company. Yes. This is gonna be a good day. Me and my fluff. Hello. Of course, if you rub her too close to her mouth like this, she'll nip at you, but it's all out of love. So then, the objective for the rest of the day is for me to just do more writing, more film-related work. I mean, if I'm not going to go out and vlog, I'm still going to be productive with my day, and I'm still a little under the weather, but not terrible, and I think I'll be just fine. It's always a lot better with a cat close by. It's just me and a cat. And, Monster Muscle. I'm gonna try that. I'm looking for an expiration. I looked for an expiration date, didn't see one. Interesting how the sketchy places don't seem to have expiration dates. So there's like a foreign code on the bottom of it. I never see expiration dates on energy drinks anyway. Some settling is normal. That makes me very uncomfortable. Like, it may look like it's gonna make you sick, but it's fine. Trust me, you'll be okay. Is there anything that says shake it up a little bit? Is it, well, energy shake, yeah. There's no carbonated water. I'm wondering if it's just like one step apart from like their coffee drinks, but okay. Contains milk and water. Yeah, this kind of looks like it's probably just like the coffee drink, only there's chocolate. It's chocolate flavored and proteinish. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's a little odd, but it's hard to say whether that's just the flavor or I think it's okay. I'm not tasting anything that's making me think like the milk's gone bad or anything, but it's the most ridiculously... there's still some in here. Feels like there's a clump of something at the bottom. Yeah, I'm glad I poured this out. This is the most random, ridiculous, absurd vlog today. Alright, cat. Well, next thing, I'm gonna try this big son of a bitch. What do you think about this, Stella? What do you think? It's like, man, I don't know. I don't know about that. That's interesting. Like, I can see where Rockstar gets its ginger brew flavor from, but this has got like... It's got like spice in it. It almost like burns your throat. I'm hoping that's what it's supposed to do. That's not just that it's like... It's not bad. It's just strong.